ironic is it that today I'm here to unlock the revelation of the root, the remedy, and the reality of risk. See, when I first got this opportunity, I went and researched TED Talk because I needed to see what was approved or what kind of TED Talks got the accolades or the most applause. And it dawned on me that what I was doing is the exact opposite of what I would tell anyone else to do. But here's why I did that. It was because I was trying to avoid the possibility of failure, to reduce the risk of failures and flops, because that's what leads to frustration and ultimately causes us to forfeit the fortune that we are hoping for. So what I'm going to talk about today is the biggest risk of all, which is being yourself 100% and showing up authentically as you. See, let's be honest here. We have been conditioned from the time we were little ones to compare ourselves to someone else. When we were born, there was already a standard set of what success looks like. There was already a rubric or a ruler made of who the best is and how to be the best. And what this did is it caused us to operate in the culprit of comparison, which then forfeits the power and the potency of our peculiarity. See, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being different. Being different is exactly what we're supposed to do. But it is the feeling of rejection, the feeling of failure, the feeling of not being liked or being loved that makes us conform to the version of ourselves that's comfortable for others. See, risk is all around us. The risk of heartbreak because you want to find that one true love. The risk of disappointment because you applied for your dream job knowing that there were hundreds of other applicants that could possibly be more qualified. Or if you're like myself, a business owner, the risk of building a business without a blueprint and hoping that you won't have a blunder. But here's the reality of risk. Risk is the recipe for reward. It is inevitable. The risk to be, to do, and to become. It takes a risk for you to change the world because to do that, you must challenge the norm. Now let's talk about the root of risk, which again is the culprit to comparison. Who are you comparing yourself to? Who have you begun to idolize that causes you to minimize the greatness of who you are and what you bring to the table? What incident was it in your life that made you say that you would stay in the confinements of conformity just so that you won't be crippled by criticism of those who don't even have the courage to do what you were called and created to do? See, I remember that very vividly. It's when I was in the 3rd grade and I tried out for the spelling bee. And I misspelled the word and my teacher embarrassed me in front of the class because she asked me if I was stupid. And in that moment, I made an internal vow that I would never make the risk of standing before people again and risk being ridiculed, rejected, or mocked for months and months. But what I understand now is that risk is the recipe for reward. And because the reward is so much greater on the other side, I am willing to be subjected to the opinions of others. See, there's so much power in your authenticity. There's so much power in your peculiarity. So instead of allowing yourself to be pushed away and put in a box because you're worried about the opinions of other people, I encourage you to step out and to stand tall in your authenticity. See, you are tailor-made because you are cut from a different cloth. There is no one who does you like you. And I know it sounds so cliche, but this is the reality. But before I wrap this up, I want to talk to you about the remedy for risk, because that was what I am originally here to do. The remedy for risk is to free yourself from the prison of people's perception of you. Even if they don't like you, even if they don't love you, even if they disagree with you, you are not called to conform to the version of yourself that's more comfortable for them. Instead, you're called to operate in the power of your peculiarity. You're called to operate in the anointing of your authenticity so that you can cause all of those who are playing small and operating in mediocrity to stand in their authenticity too. When you understand just how amazing you are and just how powerful your difference is, you will no longer shrink back, pull back, or play it small to make anyone else feel big and tall. When you understand the power that you have, when you understand just how amazing you are, you don't sit around waiting for other people to clap for you. You clap for yourself because you understand that you do not put your value in anyone else's hands. You understand that your value doesn't decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth. So even if you're the only cheerleader that you have, or you're the loudest one in the stand, guess what? You have secured your value in your own hands. Your authenticity has a trifecta. It activates, aggravates, and annihilates. It activates your authority to oppose anything that tries to detour you from your destiny. It aggravates mediocrity and the lives of those who've been okay with playing it small. And it annihilates any opportunity to silence, to sabotage, or to stop you. What you were created to do lies in your authenticity, your originality, and your individuality. You know that if you try to be anything other than who you were created to be, you forfeit the fullness of what's been laid up for you. So from this day forward, you will stop apologizing for what you're anointed to do. Stop answering to the opinions for what you are appointed to do. You will simply be who you were created to be, boldly and unapologetically. I'm Dr. Shamieka Dean, thought leader and transformational teacher. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.